It's the Portal Podcast, Top 100 Football Recruits, numbers 21 through 40.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Podcast where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst, and we're going to be discussing the college football playoff expansion later on in the show. Have a little fun with it, but first and foremost, we're going to be discussing numbers 21 through 40 in the Portal Podcast Top 100 Recruiting Countdown. So let's jump back in. Number 36 to 40 here on the page. Osani Gales, wide receiver out of IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Originally from Northern California. His father played for Stanford. Osani, in my opinion, is the best overall route runner in the class of 2027. Very smooth, very easy in every movement that he does, whether it's breaking in and out of a route, whether it's coming back to the football, whether it's changing direction, or going up in the air for a 50-50 ball. Really fun player to watch. Doesn't get enough credit for his speed either. He can run. And at IMG, he's somebody they count on a lot, and that's as good a program as there is in the United States. Stanford, Washington, Notre Dame, several other programs are down in the very nitty-gritty. I don't know where he's going to go, but somebody's going to get one heck of a football player. Number 39, another wide receiver, and from the state of Florida, Julius Jones Jr., wide receiver out of St. Thomas Aquinas down in Fort Lauderdale. For those of you who remember, like me, his father, Julius Jones Sr., played running back for the Irish, went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys, Seattle Seahawks, and for the New Orleans Saints. He was a beast. His son is built much different. He's more 5'10", 175 pounds, and can really run. Elite at getting behind the defense and making big plays. He was awesome last year at Future 50 in Orlando. He's done great things with the Under Armour game. He earned that Future 50 invite, and then he earned the chance to go to the game. I think he's one of the special players in this class at just making the play. Not really any way to explain it other than that, but when it's a critical moment, he's capable of doing that. So I'm curious to see where he ends up. It looks like it's Oregon or Notre Dame, but it's been a long, long recruitment. Miami and several other schools, I'm sure they're not giving up either. Number 38 on the list, Cooper Hackett, offensive tackle out of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. He is committed to nearby Sooners. They are on a run. Not just with this class, but with recruiting offensive linemen. When Oklahoma was really good just a few years ago, going to the playoffs all the time, their offensive lines were tremendous. This is another way to look at it. If you're going to be that team that wants to play power football, you can find different ways to do it with the portal, this, that, and the other. But Oklahoma said, the heck of it, we're going with the youth movement. At one point last year, they had 2 true freshmen in the lineup and a redshirt freshman. They're coming back. They're adding more guys, and now Hackett's one of those guys that's going to be coming in, looking to compete for playing time himself. Oklahoma's got themselves a great offensive tackle prospect. Speaking of linemen, maybe the most powerful interior offensive lineman in the country, Ismail Kamara out of Gilmer, Texas. He's committed to the Aggies. Power. Absolutely a beast. TexAgs, one of the best sites in the state of Texas, has him as their number 1 player in the entire state of Texas. They think he's a flat-out 5-star, top 5 player of the country kind of guy. I get it. I can see where you'd rank that, but he's an interior offensive lineman. I think position value comes into play. But at 6'6", 340, Kamara is not your normal offensive lineman. Even at the upper echelon of college football's recruiting board, there aren't many guys built like him. I think he will play right away for Texas A&M. Number 36, Mitchell Turner. Defensive lineman, Louisville, Mississippi. You may think, well, that's Louisville. They pronounce it Louisville. Welcome to Mississippi. 6'3", 260, 270. He could be a 5-tech in a 4-3. He could be a 4-eye as a defensive end in a 3-man front. Whatever he ends up playing, Mitchell Turner is a game record. That's all you need to know. I don't care the front. I don't care the scheme. I don't care if it's 2-gap, 1-gap, 4-3, 3-4, 3-3-5. He will find his way into the backfield to wreak havoc. Alabama, Texas, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss all have visits lined up. That is a big-time player. Next up, number 35, Leighton Von Brandt out of Appoquinimink High School in Delaware. Not a state you hear much about. Offensive tackles, though, as many know right here on the Portal Podcast, I talk about them constantly. They are the difference in recruiting. If you're going to win big-time football, you have to recruit offensive tackle more than any other spot, even over quarterback, because quarterbacks transfer at a much higher rate than tackles. Jordan Seaton transferred from Colorado to LSU. That is fact. But how many other big-time offensive tackles hopped into the portal? Two good ones, but the elite guys, they stay where they're at. For whatever reason, that is the norm. That's why you have to get guys like this. It looks like Notre Dame, Florida is where I thought he might go, but he canceled that visit. His old coach was at Penn State, where he originally committed, went to Florida, but Notre Dame is snuck in there. It looks like they're going to get him. I don't know when, but the Irish are trending. Next up, Kaden Moss out of Jackson, Mississippi, attends Jackson Academy, and this is an absolute beast and just a great young man. Had a chance to be around him twice. Last year's Under Armour event in New Orleans, and then this year's. Both times very gracious, very straightforward, very easygoing. But when he's in front of somebody, he's not an individual you want to get yourself in front of, really. Like, I know that he's a better run blocker, but he's a better athlete than people think out in space. He can move. Guard is easy pick for me. Like, he could be an All-American there. Some think he could be an offensive tackle too. Maybe it's both. I'll let the college coaches figure it out. But at 6'4", 6'5", 320 pounds, give or take, I know what he can do in space, and that's good enough for me. That alone makes him different, because most guys over 3 bills aren't very good in the screen game. Whether or not he's going to be really good as a pass protector and all that will take care of itself with technique, but he loves it. That's very important too. And he's a guy that really promotes his teammates. LSU, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Alabama, you name the list. It's who you would expect. Oregon's in there. Kentucky's been in there. Kaden Moss is a dude, no doubt about that. Looking down the list even further, Krew Jones out of Orem, Utah, another state that doesn't give a ton of love. But last year at the Future 50 list, or the Future 50 event, he was the guy at the end. He was the defensive end that made it all the way through, even over guys ranked higher than him. He's a special football player. I think he's the best just pure pass rusher in this class. Don't know if he's the best all around because he's not the biggest guy, 6'3.5", 6'4", something like that, 235-ish. But he is shot out of a cannon. He can bend, and he really understands the game of making an offensive tackle choose early, changing his direction, getting that foot out there, and then he can break back inside, spin moves. He's really started to take to his craft and add to his bag, as they say. I don't think there are many guys that are going to be better than Krew in college. And going to Oklahoma, where he's committed, that's a great fit. They want to be aggressive and play downhill football. Krew Jones will fit the Sooners extremely well. Seneca Driver, another kid committed to Oklahoma, but this time a tight end out of Danville, Kentucky, and he plays at Boyle County. This is your 6'6", 230 to 240-pound nightmare. He's good enough to go up and get it as a wide receiver, but he's big enough to be an inline blocker. There aren't many players that can truly say that coming out of high school. They can project, but he's got enough power to do both. I expect him to play early, and wouldn't shock me if he was in the 2 deep before the end of his freshman season. Big pickup all the way up in Oklahoma, or in Kentucky for Oklahoma. Next up, Sincere Gaylord, IMG Academy in Florida. Sincere is originally from the greater Los Angeles area, transferred in, has played multiple years there, and is as technically sound a corner as there is in the class of 2027. Not the biggest guy. He's about 6 foot, 5'11", 165 pounds, but you could play him at nickel, field, or boundary, and he would figure it out. He loves the technical side of the game, and Sincere is very much a player that will be in the run game just like he is in the pass game. He could probably play free safety if you needed him to. And he loves football. The way he backpedals, the way he changes direction, doesn't use false steps. Again, the most technical corner, in my opinion, in this class. If he was a little bit bigger, he'd be a top 5 guy. Tremendous football prospect nonetheless. And by the way, Georgia wants him. Georgia Tech wants him. Many programs across the country would still love to get in on him. He's got offers from everybody. That's a prospect that's got great things ahead of him in his future. Next up on the list, Caden Scott, all the way down to Easton Royal. Let's talk about these guys. Easton Royal is one of the fastest kids I've ever seen live. 4.2940 last year at Future 50. Plays at Brother Martin High School down in New Orleans. He's committed to the Horns, but still Ole Miss, LSU, and Tennessee are coming after him. It'll be one of those programs. 5'11", roughly 200 pounds. He is a grown man. Great kid, too. Good luck to Easton wherever he ends up signing. Jake Hildebrand, offensive tackle at Abasha High School, the greater Phoenix area in Arizona. Don't know where he's going to go, but I think Jake's a little bit underrated. I have him in the 5-star rankings, and the reason I do, I just think he's consistent at everything. I don't think his ceiling's as high as maybe some of the other guys like Owabobola, who just committed to Notre Dame. I got him ranked lower, but I think he has a higher ceiling. We'll see how this pans out later this year. But Hildebrand's very consistent. He could be a guard or a tackle, too. I love versatility. I think he's a great prospect. Next up on the list, Nick Lanier, wide receiver out of Miami, Florida, plays at Carroll City High School. He is committed to the hometown Canes. He's a lot like some of the guys that you think of in college football's biggest games that just make the catch. Nick is that player. He's been that guy for a few years. He was at Miami Northwestern, tremendously gifted in the slot, or if you play him out wide, I think he can do either. Doesn't really matter. Two main things here. Number one, he makes the big catch, and number two, he's a guy that gets behind the defense. At the end of the day, when you take the top off, it changes things. He can do it with technique, and Lanier can do it with his quickness and his ability to burst by you with a couple really powerful steps. I think he's going to be an instant impact guy. Even though Miami has a lot of talent at wide receiver, he'll find his way onto the football field rather quickly. Next up, Danny Lane, cornerback, Mater Dei High School. Of course, it's one of the most famous programs in the country, just outside of Los Angeles and Santa Ana. He is committed to Lincoln Riley and the Trojans. They've always hit that high school hard. That's the program they lean on the most, and they should. And he's a guy that will probably end up playing early. USC's pretty good in the secondary, but they're going to lose a few guys. Don't be surprised if he's in the starting lineup before the end of his freshman year. Another guy kind of like Sincere Gaylord that is really talented, but he's also technically gifted for a kid his age. I think he's going to be a player that teams are going to have to deal with as a freshman in college. Congrats to him on heading to USC. And finally, a guy that nobody else has a 5-star but me. I think he's really advanced based on where he's at and everything. It's not surprising that he loves football. Caden Scott at Roosevelt High School in San Antonio, Texas, committed to the Aggies. Most people have him somewhere between 50 and 150 in the country. I just think he's that guy. Maybe I have him too high, but I don't think so. Elite prospects like him don't grow on trees. He's give or take 300 pounds by the time he enrolls at Texas A&M. He's a little under that, I believe, right now. That's fine. I look at the feet. I look at the determination and the consistency that he possesses. I don't care if it's run game, screen game, or pass pro. All three, he has the ability to be an upper echelon recruit. And I think he's already there in some ways compared to other kids because his technique is consistent. Is he perfect? No, he's not. But as far as elite prospects go, I love what Scott has to offer. And again, I don't think he's reached his ceiling, and that's really important. When we come back, we're going to finish up the top 40 now. We're all the way down to number 21, so we're only going to have 20 left. So top 20 is going to be tomorrow. We'll get into the rest of 5 stars, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We got 5 more today, and then we'll get into the college football playoff discussion. That is next, right here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Wayfair. What do you know? Wayfair has done it again. They've come out with a new opportunity for you because your outdoor space, it needs to be refreshed. And if you're one of those people that wants to check it out and get it for less, Wayfair is the spot for you. It's one of those spots to keep coming back to. Fix it up. Maybe you're going to need something like pillows. Maybe it's a new couch outside. Maybe it's a new table. Speaking of tables, my desk right now that I'm using for this podcast, I got from Wayfair. Whatever it is, Wayfair has what you need, and they can get it done for you really easy. Pieces that fit your vibe and your budget online and delivered right to your door. It's easy to use. You can filter on their site with anything that you want, with style, whether it's budget, whether it's colors, whatever you want to do, you can get it done with Wayfair. All in one place, seating, decor, lighting, anything else you need. And there are thousands of verified reviews. And again, myself included, I'm a happy Wayfair customer. Get prepped for patio season for way less. Head to wayfair.com to shop all things home. Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style and every home. We are also brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position that you need to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need to get that job taken care of, this is a spot for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you find the people who fit what you need, skills, experience, location, so you're not just putting out a job post and hoping somebody finds it that fits what you really want. Indeed will help you get the right person. Here's the stat that says it all. In the minute that I'll be speaking with you, 27 hires worldwide by Indeed's data. That's right, 27 in 1 minute. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time getting the right people that check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Less stress, less time, more results. That's Indeed sponsored jobs. And you'll get a $75 sponsored job credit over at Indeed.com/podcast. Again, Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Make sure you check out the Everydayer Club down below in the description. There is a link. You can check it out. Get all your podcasts on the go. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, however you consume Locked On the Portal. Get your pods on the go with no ads. Let's talk about the final 5 players for today's show. And these are all great players. Number 25, Marcus Facetu, defensive end, Sierra Canyon, California. Very rare player. I saw him coming out of his freshman year. I knew he was going to be a great prospect. And Marcus is a really good dude. Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame. There's been all kinds of back and forth. I don't know where he's going to sign, but at 6'7", roughly 275, this is the rare guy that can play on the end, and he can also go inside if you needed him to. The length is legit. There was concern even from him at one point that he was going to outgrow defensive line and end up being an offensive tackle because he was getting so tall. But he's 6'7" or so, and he's a great kid that has burst, has change of direction, and he loves football. I think Facetu is going to be an impact player wherever he ends up. Jamaron Simmons, this is the guy for those of you that are looking at the picture for this podcast. That's Jamaron on the photo. Godby High School in Tallahassee, Florida. One of the most explosive, consistent, and dominant players that I've seen at wide receiver the last couple of years, especially in the moment. When you need a big play, Jamaron Simmons is that guy. I don't care if you're playing with free safety, at slot, outside, it doesn't matter. Jamaron Simmons is elite. He tore it up on the 7-on-7 circuit, the camp circuit. His offers are all over the place nationally for a reason. Florida State would love to keep him on, but I think he's going to end up playing for Clemson, as do most people. There for a while, I thought Clemson might not get him. Florida, Miami, a bunch of schools coming, but it looks like they're going to hold on. And he's going to visit, I believe, the May 29th weekend. That's a big-time player. Going to a campus that when they have that big weekend, the last weekend in May every year, Clemson doesn't miss much. We'll see if Dabo and company can get it done. Next up, Abraham Cisse. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Downington East, not that far from Philadelphia. 6'4", 225, 230. One of the best defensive ends in the country. I remember seeing his film before he really blew up, and I'm like, why isn't this kid ranked higher? I think this kid's a 5-star. Anyway, the offers have come flooding in from around the country. I don't know for sure how many he has, but I would assume it's north of 40 now. And there's good reason. When he winds up in a 3-point stance at an angle on that 3rd and long situation, it just looks the part. Cisse looks like the guy that's supposed to be coming off the edge when everybody in the stadium knows, hey, the quarterback's going to be throwing it right here. It's 3rd and 8. And if you're an offensive tackle, Abraham's not somebody you want in front of you. The bend, the twitch, and the first step explosiveness that is necessary to not only be an elite player against the pass, but he can change direction, use power, go speed to power, power to speed, and play the run too. This is a young man that can go to an Oregon or a Georgia, a Notre Dame, a Penn State, a Virginia Tech, whatever program he wants to, and play a lot as a freshman. Again, it took a little while for him to kind of come up the list, but there's no doubt he is one of the best players in the country. Jackson Dollar, one of my favorite players to watch in this class, committed to the Georgia Bulldogs, tight end, East Lincoln High School, just north of Charlotte. 6'5", 225. Football film's great. You know what's even better? Jackson Dollar's basketball film. He can shoot it. He can pass it. He can rebound it. He can block the shots. Alley-oop dunks. That's a great way to evaluate a kid. Speed for days. Athleticism in a lot of different ways, but he plays under control. not only on the gridiron, but on the hardwood. I will be shocked if he's not a star at one point in time for Georgia. I know they're loaded at tight end, but this guy's got the goods. And finally, for today, the last one I want to mention, Eric McFarland, wide receiver out of IMG Academy. Speed is ridiculous. One of the fastest kids at IMG's football program now and historically. He's a kid out of Las Vegas that moved across the country to play for IMG, was a starter as a freshman. Some thought he was the best player on the team as a freshman. I don't know if that's really true, but if you're even in that conversation, it's insane. He's only about 5'8", and he's probably a slot, but he's athletic enough he can play out wide. Screens, reverses, you could play him in wildcat, whatever you want to do. Nobody stays in front of him. This is as explosive a player as there is in the class of 27. Great guy, very focused, eyes on the prize. I don't know where he's going to go to school. His list is crazy. But Eric McFarland is going to make an impact somewhere. When we come back, we're going to jump into the craziness with the playoff expansion, and we'll get into the chat. I see a whole bunch of people in the chat. Thank you for stopping in. I'll get into that first. Then we'll go into the expansion. That is next right here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by Rocket Money. Rocket Money is an opportunity for you because if you're like me, you have probably looked at your bank account before and said, where did all my money go? And if you're like me, you're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions, spending, and bills can be overwhelming and fast. That's where Rocket Money comes into play, helping you take control of your finances all in one spot. It tracks your subscriptions, and it helps you cancel the ones you really don't need anymore in just in a few taps. It automatically categorizes spending so you can see what's going on with your money, so you can get your budget set, check out the alerts to make sure nothing happened that you didn't know about, and you can stay on top of all your finances in a very timely manner. It makes everything easy with Rocket Money because you'll feel more organized and you have a clearer picture of what's going on. So Rocket Money is a personal financial app that helps you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, helps lower your bills, and get everything done right there with a few taps. You can get rid of subscriptions on your phone. That's awesome. Let Rocket Money help you at rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. All right, now let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the chat. I don't know how many we got in here, but I think it's quite a few. So let's have a little fun. Then we'll get into the discussion with the college football playoff here. First question or comment. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is from Salty. What's happening, man? Hope you're doing very well. Let's see what we got. I think Notre Dame is in on Von Brandt. Justin K. I think Notre Dame is going to get him based on all the intel, but we just talked about him today. Great prospect. Salty, Notre Dame just received a commitment from Owuwazumola. Is this the beginning of an avalanche of recruiting commitments? I don't know about an avalanche, but they got a chance to get multiple. I don't know what the timing of all the commitment dates is. It drives me nuts trying to keep up with that, but they're going to get some more here in the next week or two, I would assume. Hurricane Hicks, is it possible? For sure, I hope not. Sean Davis suggested 5 commitments by June. It's possible. I don't know if it's going to get to that. Again, the dates change with these. All the schools try to line it up to get the most publicity, but it changes a lot. Notre Dame likely to get Van Brandt. Van Boring, I don't know who that is, may commit soon. How are the Irish looking with Van Halen and Van Helsing? That's hilarious. Let's see. Hurricane Hicks, I'm more concerned with the defensive tackle from Chicago. David Foe will run show. He commits Friday, I believe. It's Miami or Notre Dame, it sounds like. That could go either way. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Virginia. David Foe will run show has a commitment announcement this week in OB from June 19th. He is Irish as the leprechaun. I don't know about that. We'll have to see if he ends up being Notre Dame or not. Hurricane Hicks, it's feeling that way to me also, but Mario does well in Chicago. That's true. Salty, should Notre Dame target Lawrence as the 28 quarterback? I think so. I've looked at a little bit of the quarterback. Neiman Lawrence is that guy. He's really good, but there are a lot of other possibilities too. Salty, Hurricane Hicks, you are correct, and I hate it. Let's see. Salty, should the Irish target Christian Cypher as the 29 quarterback? I think so, and it adds to their all-name team. Imagining Christian Cypher's pass to complete to Titus Hawk for the touchdown. That'd be funny. All right, who else we got in here that's new to the chat? Oh, this is interesting. Justin K. I like the coach and the AD salary cap. Good luck on implementing a salary cap in college football that's truly in any way, shape, or form adhered to. Swanton Bomb 43. We hope Packatu keeps the love he had for Notre Dame before Washington left. Heard he also may be swayed by a buddy of his. Forgot the name. That one I'm not familiar with. He's at Sierra Canyon High School now. He transferred, so I'm not sure where Packatu is going to go. Not Mons, quarterback from Mandarin in Jacksonville. Bryson Wright attends the same school. That's from Hurricane Hicks. Bryson Wright's a big-time player. He'll be 5-star. Do you think there should be a 24-team college football playoff? I do not. The first round is bad enough already. Now we get number 1 versus 24. Please, no. I think they'll break it down into brackets. We'll see. Salty, Hurricane Hicks, no. Wonderful Champ Mons, the 4th. And Hurricane says, I hate the expansion, just a naked money grab. Yeah, in some ways it is. Let's break that down here in just a second. Do you think a team and head coach should get credit for making a 24 college football playoff field? I do for seeds 1 for 12, but not so much for 13 to 24. And that's where I want to bring this up. Here's the deal with the playoff. It is a money grab. ADs want raises, coaches want raises and job security with all those millions. Hey, I made the playoff last year. Don't look at the score when I got beat 56-14 by Georgia. If you're NC State, or if you're somebody like UCLA or somebody like that trying to come back up the ladder, it's still cool they made it. But are you really that great if you're number 19 in football? It's different than basketball. Totally different. I'm not a big proponent of the 24 playoff. However, let me say this. If you're one of those teams that's always just on that cusp that don't get in, BYU, Illinois, those kinds of teams that are just like, not quite there talent-wise, can I understand why you would be interested in the 2014 playoff? Sure. The conference commissioners, by and large, want it because they think they're going to get more teams in for their league. Everybody thinks their league's going to get more teams. Imagine that. If we start acting that way and just being completely ridiculous with the false narrative, oh, it's obvious. Well, it's us. All the commissioners say the same thing. It's basically politicians, which is gross enough as it is. But to that end, you're the Big Ten, you're going to say, well, we should have got at least 2 more in. If you're the it should have been, we should have got 8 in. I could care less. The only thing I do like is it would give a few teams their fan bases, maybe a Pittsburgh, maybe a Syracuse, maybe a Michigan State, maybe Nebraska again. They get back in the mix. Washington, Arizona. Like if Arizona has the kind of year I think they do this year, if there was a 24-team playoff, you got a senior quarterback, they would have a chance to make the playoff. That would be cool. But overall, let's be very, very clear what the college football playoff expansion is about. Money. No more, no less. All this lip service from conference commissioners, from the NCAA or anybody else, all this is good. No, it's not. No, it's not. As Salty said in the chat, let's be very honest. The first round of the playoffs has been bad. Now, I expect seeds 1 through 8 at least probably to get a bye. But even like number 9 versus 24, that's not going to be very good. Like Oklahoma, Alabama kind of level competition from last year, that's where they were seeded. Can you imagine a team that's 7-5, 8-4, and number 24 having to play at Oklahoma in the first round of the playoff? That's probably going to be 41-20, 41-14, something like that. Why would I be excited about that? This is nothing more than a power grab / money grab. To that, I am very, very steadfast. So if anybody wants to comment on this later on, fire away. I get it. If you like playoffs, it's fun. We'll watch. But the number 24 team's not winning it. It's not going to happen. So we'll see how it goes. But tomorrow we will finish up with the top 20. And it's kind of amazing we're already at that point. But the Portal Podcast is down to the final 20 recruits for the top 27 prospects. And we're going to have fun with that again tomorrow. So we'll see you again 9 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday night, right here on the Portal Podcast. Like and subscribe if you're on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever. Please like and subscribe. This has been the Portal Podcast.